Microsoft project for the web, which is, I will not say slightly, but completely different to configure in Microsoft project for the web against the Microsoft project desktop application, which was much more easier. To show you that, I'm going to start the project. So here you can see that that we have project for the website, and I am going to create a new blank project. Okay, now when you create new blank project here and you have untitled project, so you can see, we have a wait for a moment, you can see that here you can choose calendar, and you will see that this calendar can be chosen only if you have already defined one by your own. Otherwise, if you didn't, then you will have a default work template, which is default, of course, as the word says, and you will not have you will not see this this type of the screen on the right hand bottom corner. But before that, let me show you some examples. First of all, I'm going to delete this project, and I'm going to make a case scenario. Let's say that we have a working time from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Okay, to have that, first of all, what you should do is to create one resource, even real resource, which you have already created, or you will create, or you can do, as I'm going to do, create new generic resource. And I'm going to create new generic resource, which will be called here. So where am I? I am, first of all, I can go here and Dynamics 365. So how to get there? And on Dynamics 365, I will go down there to the project. And when I click to the project, I will come right here. So I will choose resources, and I will say, okay, I need resource type, which will be generic resource, and I will name it, let's say, work time from 8:00 a.m. to 4:00 p.m. and I will choose my time zone. Be careful about time zone which you choose, because you can have different results if you choose wrong one, and I'm going to cover this during my presentation. So now I have my generic resource, which name is work time from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and I'm going to save and close that resource. And after the saving will be done, you have to wait a little bit. Then I will going to define work hours for the same resources. And now for the same resource, I will choose this resource. And as you can see, if I choose it, I have show work hours. So this is basically where you can create work hours for resource. And it is obvious, it is mandatory to do before you are going to create calendar template or work template for the whole project. Now, for the whole project. Now I'm going to go to the show work hours for that particular project. And after a little bit, and don't be confused, you have to wait a while for at the first time. I'm going to go to the setup and new weekly schedule. Okay, now when I have new weekly schedule, I will say that that my resource will work only during weekdays, so I will uncheck Sunday and Saturday. I will choose the same, once again, the same time zone, and I will say that this applies from the very beginning of this year, so basically from 1st of January. After that, I will go to set work hours. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. I think some people need to reconnect. Please press ahead. I think some people who cannot see your screen need to disconnect from Teams and reconnect. Then they'll be able to see your screen. So please feel free to continue, Nenad.
Do you see my set work hours and service restrictions screen?
We can see your PowerApps screen with your active bookable resources. That's what we can see right now.
Well, it is a little bit strange because now, let's say, you can see this screen with, okay, so I should share it once again. Let me try to reshare my screen again. Okay, and I will say share, and I will share my desktop. Now you will see everything, I hope. Okay, do you see now?
Yes, we do. Yes, we see. Okay. We see all your screens. There we go. Yes, we can see your calendar screen.
Okay, now. So I'm going to go through this once again. I will say new weekly schedule. Okay, I will check this Sunday and Saturday. As you can see, I have the whole the same time zone as I have previous for my resource. And I will say, let's go to set work hours. And I will say, I want to work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. here. And I will say, okay. Now I have my brand new work calendars for the calendar for this particular resource. Now I'm going back. And I'm going back to from project to settings. And now I'm going to create brand new calendar template. Okay. From settings to calendar template, I will say new one, and I will say a template from 10 to 4. Okay. And I will say that I will use template, which I will use resource, which is from 8 to 4. So for the creation of template, you should create, to inherit some work hours, you should use resource. I create a resource from 8 to 4, and I will use it. So I have new template, a template for 10 to 4. And I'm going to say, save it. Everything is good. Now I have everything what I need, and I have to go back to my project. And now you will see one strange thing. First of all, be aware that this is not from 10 to 4, sorry, from 8 to 4. This is mistake, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Save and close. Now, I want to show you something when you use from 8 a.m. I will create new blank project, and I will say that this project has a name, project from 8 to 4. I will say that this project will start at the very beginning of next week, and I should wait for a little because it is not visible here. Okay, let's see if it's visible now. Here it is, from 8 to 4. So I will use for my specific project, specific template. Now you will see one strange thing, and you should be aware of that. I'm not even starting with my real presentation. I want to. This is what I'm showing you now is something which you be aware of, and you should avoid it. I will create task 1. Okay. I will add 2 columns, start time and finish time. Okay. And if I say that this particular task is going to have 1 day duration. It will start at 15th of June and it will not be finished at the same date by the next day. Why is that? Because if you go hover your mouse here, you will see that this task will start at 9 a.m. So no matter if you have your calendar template, which is set up from 8 a.m., first task of the project, at the project for the web, in the project for the web, will always start at 9 a.m. So it will be finished next day, let me hover, at 9 a.m. as well. If I put, for example, here for duration 7, but not days, hours, sorry, hours, it will finish at the same day from 9 to 4, because task cannot be started before 9, but should be finished according to my calendar template at 4 p.m. So if I choose 1 day, it will start at 9. It will finish first day at 4, it is 7 hours, and it will start next day at 8. So the problem here is that the first task for your project is always started at 9 a.m. So that's what I wanted to show you with this calendar template. Now let's go to achieve something very different. And this is, I'm going to show you that I will use project. I will create brand new resource. And let's say that we are working from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So as you already know, I should create one resource. And I will say that this resource is a new resource, which is generic. And I can say this is a generic resource for template from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I will respect my time zone. I will say 7 close, and I'm going to now choose my new resource. I'm going to set hours, and I'm going to say, okay, I want to set up new weekly schedule, which is going to be in my time zone from the very beginning of the year, just for example. And I don't want to work, my work days are not going to be Sundays and Saturdays, so I'm going to work during weekdays. And I'm going to work from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. sorry, here. I will say okay, and I'm done here. It says that it is applied from very beginning of this year to the end of the life, especially my life. And I'm saying, okay, now I'm done. I have to create a new template. So I'm going back to the settings, to calendar templates, and I'm going to create brand new template, which will say template from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay. I will say template resource will be this one. I will say save and close, and I'm done. Okay, now I will try now to create a new project, and I will say new blank project. I will say project from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I will say that it will start next week, Monday, and I will try to, to refresh it because it's not obviously visible still. So I'm going back and I hope it is visible now. Yes, it is. And that's it. Now I'm going to add one task. Task one. Task one. And I'm going to say that, of course, I need start and finish columns to show you what is really happening here. And I'm going to say that duration is 1 day. So it will start at 10 a.m. as you can see, and it will be finished at 6 p.m. Now, that means that for our tasks, we need 8 hours. But what about resources? Now, I will create resources here, and I will create in my project brand new resource, which I already have in my tenant, and I will say, okay, I need Tim. Is it here? No, sorry. I have resources here, new user, and I'm going to look for the Tim. Here is Tim. And I will say, be careful, very careful about here, that Tim is in my time zone. So I will say he is here, sorry, somewhere here, yeah, here, and that's it. And I will say save and close. Now, I can now choose Tim and say that Tim will have the same working hours as my template. So I will say set calendar. I don't have to go through each and every single resource and say this each and every single resource will work from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Instead of that, I can choose one or more resources and I can say set calendar. So I can choose 100 resources if I want, but I will choose for this presentation only one, but you can choose as many as you want. And I will go to set calendar and I will say, Team will work according to template from 10 to 6. Now, I will apply it. Okay, let's go back to my project. And I will say in my project, then I will assign this task to Tim. I will say, okay, I will need Tim. It will search for a while. It will find a Tim and it will say to me, okay, Nenad, you didn't create any group because before you started with assigning your resources to Microsoft Project for the web, you have two possibilities. Either you have your own group. Okay, I have one, but this is actual one, so I won't use it. Or you will create a new one. So it's up to you if you are going to create the new group for each project, or you will create one common group, let's say a group, project group, in which you will have all resources which you need, and then you will when you open new project or create new project, you will choose that a group which already exists. For this purpose, I will just create a new one. Okay, and now I see Tim is here, and you can see that he will work from 10 to 6. But let's say that I have new resource, which is, I should remove this one, new one, and this user is Jim. Okay, but he's also in my time zone. So here it is. Here he's here, and I will say save and close. Okay, but since he is in my time zone, I want from, beg your pardon, this was, which one was that? Tim, okay, Jim. I will use Jim, okay, and I will say, I will create calendar for Jim, but let's say that Jim is going to work from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. I mean noon. So it is available only 2 hours per day. For this purpose, I cannot apply a template because template says it is from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm going to create brand new work hours for a brand new schedule and calendar for this particular resource. I will go to new weekly schedule and I will say, okay, he's not going to work from Sunday to Saturday. He is going to be in my time zone, but he's going to work from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. And I will say, okay, now I'm good with him. I will close this screen. I will close this screen. As you can notice, I didn't choose that Jim will work from the beginning of the year, so it will apply from today. And I'm going to my project, and I will say I will create task 2. We'll have duration, which will be 1 day, but instead of him, I will say I need Jim. Okay. Now I'll put Jim. I will assign Jim to my specific group, which was here. And what you can see is that duration is 1 day, but start date and finish date are different. Start date are the same, but finish date is different. Why? Because Jim is going to work from 15th of June till 18th of June, because according to my calendar template, my one work day is 8 hours from 10 to 6. So to fulfill that task, Jim should work 8 hours. But since he is available only 2 hours per day, he is going to work longer than Tim. So if I go to the timeline, I will see that he is going to work 4 days. Why? Let's go back to the grid and I will say here, Tim. Tim is going to work 8 hours per day. So since, sorry, why didn't I see Tim? Okay. Since he is going to work from 10 to 6, he will fulfill his task 1, from 10 to 6, and he is done. But since Jim is available only 2 hours per day, and he should work 8 hours to fulfill that task, he will work from 15th of June to 18th of June. So he is going to work 4 days, 2 hours per day. What will happen if I choose that I will put Jim in this task as well? I can say, okay, Jim is going to work, and you will see that the finish date will be the same like the finish date for task 2. Why is that? Because at the dead task at task 1 Jim should work 8 hours as Tim has, but he's available 2 hours per day. Now, the third thing which I want to show you is that I can add here task 3, and I will say it will last 3 days. Now, let's say, for example, that my Jim, my resource, which is called Jim, is going to have time off. Now, once again, back to my project. He is going to work from 15th to 17th. Let's say that at 16th of June, he has a holiday. I will go to Jim. Okay, and I will choose this one, and I will say, let's say vacation. And I will say he's going to be off from 16th to 16th, 1 day, and once again, I will choose the same time zone. So vacation, I misspell it, vacation. So you can see that he is going to be off. What will happen, and you can see that he is off, he is on vacation on the calendar, you can clearly see that he is on vacation. Okay, I will close this screen, it is for Jim, and I will put Jim on this task. Now you can see that this task is going to be from 15th to 1st of July, because he has to work 3 days. 3 days means, and I will show you that on details, 3 days mean 24 hours, and 24 hours, 2 hours per day. So he is going to work 2 hours per day until he's finished, but also he has here on timeline some days which are off. What you can see, what maybe is not obvious here, that if I go to Tim, I will show you about Tim. Let's say that Tim is going to be on the vacation. Let me show you. Tim has work here. I will remove Jim. I will say Tim. Let's say that Tim is at 15th of June at his vacation. I will say Tim, show working hours, and I will say setup, time off for Tim, and he is going to be on vacation on 15th, 1 day, and I will say also vacation. I will say you should be aware about time zone. Okay. Now Tim is on vacation on Monday. What will happen on my project? You will see that Tim is going to work. What does it mean? And I will assign him again task 4. If I assign him to task 4 and I assign Tim to the task 4, okay, you will see that if you already have a task on which Tim should work, it might take a little bit longer until it inherits the new calendar. So be aware, when you change a calendar, vacation, or something like that, here, the project will be changed as well. You should wait a little bit, but as you can see, while I was typing task 4, start and finish date was changed for Tim because the vacation was applied. Okay, that's it. Now, one thing more. What if you want to add, if you want to change something? Let's say that I don't want for Jim to work from 10 to noon, but I also want, sorry, was it? Yeah, show working hours. As you can see here, I'm going to change this. And how I'm going to change this? I can click on any calendar date here. I will click here. I will double click and it will ask me, okay, you want to edit the schedule. What do you want to do? Do you want to edit the schedule for this date only? So let's say that Jim is going to work from 10 a.m. till noon each and every day except this one. No, I don't want to. Do you want to change his schedule from particular date which I choose? It was 25th of June, and then onward, or you want to reschedule entire schedule from beginning to the end, from start to the end. And I will say, okay, from start to the end. And I will say, okay, I want to change this. And I will say, no. That was a mistake. He shouldn't. He should not work from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m., but from 10 a.m. till, let's say, 6 p.m. I will say, okay. Now it is changed, as you can see. Now let's go and see what happened to my project. I will refresh it. Here. What happens? As you can see, nothing. Why? Be aware of that. When you change work time, after you assign your resource at your existing project, any change which is made here will not apply to existing project. Let me show you. I will delete each and every of these tasks, each and every, okay. And I will say brand and I will say it is 1 day duration. Okay. See? Okay, now let's go back to the project. Let's create a new one. And let's say my newest project. And let's say it will start at from Monday. And let's say that I'm going to choose this one. Okay, template. Of course, I'm going to put start and finish column here to be visible. I will add new task, which we'll call task A. I will say 1 day duration, and I will assign it to Jim. Of course, it will ask me, do you want new group? I will say, okay, yes, I want it. Okay, create and assign. And you can see that Jim is going to work here from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. But on the other hand, if I go to my previous project, Jim is going to work on task 1 from 15 to 19. So be aware of that, because if you make a mistake or if you made a mistake here and you create a very large and complex project here, you are not going to be able to do something like erase your resource and reassign him. So deassign and reassign, but it inherits these dates and this working time from this one, and this one is template. When you choose your template at your brand new project, it collects everything what is written at a moment here, and it moves on with those data. So it can be very, very annoying if you find out lately or later when you created your new project that you made a mistake or you should do some corrections. Okay, now, once again, I showed you calendars. What can you do with your calendars as well? You can go here, show work hours, and instead of something like from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., I can create new, I can here change resource, change a working time, or I can do it for new resource. Let's say that this resource will not work from 10 to 6, but it will work from 10 to 2. Then it will have, let's say, 30 minutes break or 1 hour break from 2 to 3, which I also can do. And then he will work from 3 to 6. So as you can see now, if I create a new project, because I must do that, because I create new work hours for that resource, so it will not be inherited in a project which already exists. So remember, he is going to work from 10 to 2. Then he has to he has a lunch break from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Then from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. he's going to work. Okay. 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 We are going to create new project. Hello world. I will say it will start, let's say that I'm the project manager, and I'm going to start with project from Monday. I will say I will use this template, okay, and I will add new task, and I will say task, and I will say okay, duration is 1 day, start, finish, everything seems good. Now Tim, now okay, hello world, create and assign, and he's going to work from 16 to 17. Why? First of all, he's on his vacation, remember? Let's say show working hours. He's on vacation, so he shouldn't work at 15. Why is he going to finish the task next day? Why? Because 1 day, according to template, means 8 hours per day. Tim is at work 8 hours per day, but he has a break. So he actually works 7 hours per day. So he's going to work, let me show you here, show work hours. Let me show you here, let's say here. Okay, just to show you, from 10 to 2, this is 4 hours, then from 3 to 6, which is another 3 hours. In the break time, he doesn't work, so he's going to work from 10 to 2, 4 hours, and from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., this is another 3 hours. So he's not able to finish the task X in 1 day because he's going to work 7 hours and this task, and he's going to be finished next day with remain 1 hour. See, he is going to start at 10 a.m. next day, and since he has only 1 hour to work, because the only 1 hour is left for him to complete this task, he's going to be finished at 11 a.m. So be aware of that. Of course, your question might be, what if I want to have a break for each and every resource? Should I put it here? And the answer is, of course not. If you remember, for the very beginning of my presentation, if I go, let's say here to calendar template from 10 to 6, I can see that I used generic resource. I will click on my generic resource. I will be switched on resource tab, and I will go to show work hours. And I will now say, oh, I forgot. It is not from 10 to 6 p.m. It is from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m., but I have a lunch break. Okay, I will click on one of the date. I will say, no, for the entire time. I will now say, it will apply to the whole period, and I will say it is from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I will say okay, but this is going to be from 9 a.m. okay to 6 p.m., but I'm going to have a break from, let's say, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So as you can see, from 9 to 1 is 4 hours, from 2 to 6 is another 4 hours. So resource is going to work 8 hours, but it has a 1 hour break in the meantime. So if I put that, you can see here, and it shows that everything is good. Now I am going to my settings, my calendar template, and I am going to say I will apply this to generic resource, and it should work. So let's go again here. Let's go to create a new project, and I will say, and at the end of the story, I will start at 15th. I will say that I'm using template. I will say okay. I will say task. I will say 1 day. Sorry, this is not where I should put duration. I will set add column. I will say start. I will set end or finish. It works from 10 to 6, as you can see. And now, if I'm going to assign Tim and create, he's going to work from 16 to, oh yeah, why? I made a mistake. I will go back and I will show you which mistake I made. If I go to resources, to Tim, and show work hours, and if I go back here, and if I say, okay, I didn't put the same thing for him, so I can say, okay, he's not going to work from 10 bar from 9, and that everything will be okay. Or I can say, oh, I have user, which is Tim. I go to resources. Now I don't have to create separate calendar for him. I will say, oh, for Tim, it is quite enough to take the template and everything will be fine. And now I have the same setup like I have for my template, and my template has the same setup like it is in generic resource template. So that's it. Since I introduced myself as a project manager, for project manager, it is always the good thing to be on time. So it is 15 minutes till 1, my time, okay, my time, and I am done. So to make a conclusion, be aware that it is not easy for you to create calendar template like it is for you who are familiar with Microsoft Project. For here, like here, project, change working time, and here go to work weeks, details, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And now you can see the work time. It is totally different thing to create a calendar in project for the project for the web than in Microsoft Project. Why? Because in Microsoft Project desktop application, you could and you can create calendar template directly from the tool. On the other hand, when you have your project for the web here, you cannot, once again, you cannot create calendar template or working time for your resources. You should do it through PowerApps with resources and with your settings. In settings, you are going to use calendar templates. And once again, recap, before you do that, you should create, or already you should have one resource which will use as a template for your calendar template. Here it is, template resource. So for create calendar template, you should have template resource. And then when you have multiple template resources like I have here, you will save and close, sorry. You will see that and in each and every project, when I create new one, I can choose between those which I already created. Like, for example, here, when I create a new project, I will see exactly when I go to Untitled Project, I will see here in the calendar, I have to wait for a little, in my calendar that I have all those templates which are shown here. So be aware that you can create a template and you can assign these calendars to all your resources, and still you can change the working time for your particular resources if that particular resource work on different time or when you are going to create vacation. Of course, if you have national holidays which apply to all your resources, like for example, New Year, I don't know, Labor's Day, or etc., you should do it in your generic resource, and then all your resources won't work at that time as well. Okay, I'm all yours.
Thank you once again, Nenad, for that very interesting explanation. That was a really good use case of overcoming the limitations of Project Web with PowerApps. So well done by showcasing, I know, and showing how to overcome those limitations. I'm looking to see if there's any questions. There are no questions currently.
So either I was perfect or I was lousy.
Well, well, obviously, yeah, that's true. But obviously, I'm more sure that it was a very good session. I'm wondering if people understand what you actually did, because I know you spent a lot of time trying to explain how to do something using obviously the PowerApps and the calendar controls. But maybe people, I'm wondering, we've still got about 5 to 10 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Do you want to unmute? If you maybe don't want to ask in the chat window, please feel free to ask in the chat window. If you don't, please feel free to unmute your microphone if you have questions about this.
If Hello. You can see here, those are my contacts. This is my blog, my website. I'm writing only about Microsoft Project and Project for the Web only. And this is my email address and this is my LinkedIn profile. So if you want to reach me or ask any question, if you are hesitate now, don't hesitate in the future. So you can reach me anytime and I will surely come back to you. I will answer. I always answer to questions.
Excellent. So you can see, obviously, please connect with Nenad on LinkedIn, as well as follow him on his blog. Maybe you'll get a better understanding of Microsoft Project Web. So please, there are no questions. There are no questions yet. So I'm hoping everyone is satisfied with that session. Nenad, I mean, look, this is a common challenge with many across many applications. So it'll be interesting to see how the same approach could be used in other scenarios. I can tell you right now that booking people based on their availability has always been a challenge to make sure that you are only booking them at the right time for the correct resource. So essentially, you've shown how to do that in PowerApps. And Marilyn Stewart is saying it's a great demo. Thank you. They enjoyed it thoroughly. They do have a comment, though. They have a question. The question is this.
Why would anyone use Project for the Web with all the limitation it has over a multitude of cloud-based project solution without them? Struggling people will use case of Project for the Web in its form. Okay, let me try to answer this question. Project for the Web is brand new product. That's it. So in this particular moment, you cannot achieve everything what you can with Project Online, Project Server Online, or Project Desktop application. That's true. Okay, but if you consider a future, in the future, Microsoft Project for the Web will be the main tool for project management. I think, this is my opinion only, then Microsoft is going to, sooner or later, I think maybe in a year or two, it will abandon Microsoft Project Online. Because with the I enjoy Microsoft Project for the Web. Why? It is integrated and it is much less complicated than Project Online without check-in, check-out. If you ever tried to administrate Microsoft Project Online, it's a really headache. So this is the strategy for Microsoft, and yeah, it is a little bit complicated, but it is integrated with all Dynamics and PowerApps stuff. So basically, it is the future. But yes, Marilyn, the answer is, for now you cannot easily or at all achieve everything what you can do with Microsoft Project Desktop. One of the reasons you use a planner and need more capacity if you have outgrown planner and need more features. Well, let me show you something. Planner, okay, and Microsoft Project are two different things, okay? They can help each other, let me use these words. But on the other hand, if you use Planner, in a Planner you will not see dependencies, and you will not see how the particular resource is occupied, and you cannot go with costs, etc., etc. On the other hand, Microsoft Project is much more complex product, and I strongly invite you to see the next session, not the next one, of course, the next one, of course, but the one which will be in an hour, and Paul Mather is going to show you Microsoft Project from zero to hero. And I know Paul, and he is great, and I know that he will answer a lot of questions which you have in mind now, because you know this is brand new project, this is brand new product, and yes, it is a future, but no, it cannot be done everything which we used to with I will say ordinary Microsoft Project. That's my answer, the best what I can do now.
And that is a very good answer. So we do have a follow-up session, as you mentioned, that is going to answer many of your outstanding questions. So yes, that is correct. So we will allow we will allow Nenad to obviously complete. We still have 5 minutes. So Nenad, do you have any other things you'd like to share with the community in this available time?
Since I don't work with Microsoft, I will tell you something. When you start with all those things which are covered today, the one thing which I will say, well, dislike is that there is no such a thing like from Microsoft, like a starting point. Where should I start from? Okay. Why? Because if you are saying you should be aware that a lot of things exist and you don't know how to do it. I will tell you, I'm MVP, and I can say I'm good in project. Okay, I'm not being modest, but I'm that's what I'm doing for my living, and I was struggled a lot before I found this one. Okay, this one which I just presented to you, because I had a lot of problems, and I went to many sites from Microsoft, user forums, etc., and then I find I think from Antti, or I think from Antti that he has already recorded one video, but without that, it can be very, very hard to you to solve a problem. It is huge product, not Microsoft project for the web, but the whole environment. Then it is sometimes, and most of the time, it's very hard to know where to start from. But Antti made a good point. Remember that project for the web is still MVP, minimal viable project. It's the project management tool moving forward, and you will see the majority of investment efforts from the project team moving forward. It still doesn't have ways to go. Okay, yeah, that's exact what I meant. It is a minimal valuable product, because you don't forget that PSA came much before years before Project for the Web. Project for the Web was introduced at November last year, and they are constantly growing. It is constantly growing. A Microsoft project group is primarily focused on that product. So it is future. Like, if you like it, you can like it or not, but it is the future of the Microsoft project as a tool. That's my point.
So we're coming to the end of your session now. So once again, thank you so much, Nenad Trajkovski, for that great session. And we will be introducing Matthew Lazowski now. So once again, a big thank you to Nenad for your great session and all your efforts.
Thank you for having me here.
Make sure you connect with him on Twitter, LinkedIn, and follow him on his blog. So without further ado, is Matthew, I've seen you earlier. Are you online?
Yes, I am.
Excellent, Matthew. So I know